friends, welcome to Sunday Writing Sprints. Thank you for bearing with me as I push the live back an hour. I know I'm a couple minutes late, but I've been trying to get everything situated. It's been a little bit chaotic this morning. I had a 6.5 mile run today, and that took longer than I thought it was, and my legs are completely destroyed. So getting ready was I was moving a little bit slow today. But we're here now, and we're going to get started on some writing sprints. So my name is Maggie. If you're new here, hi. Today's goal is we are going to be just doing some productivity sprints so you can work on a story or whatever it is that you have to work on that you're trying to be productive. We are going to do 25 minutes of sprinting and then a 5-minute break. I am working on my story called Project Shadow. It is a 1940s historical espionage story set in the Marvel Universe. And I've been working on it for a while now. So today I'm just going to continue storyboarding that, which is basically going in and mapping out all the scenes. So when it's time for me to write, I can just write it out. If you want, go ahead and let me know in the chat what it is that you are working on and what you are trying to get done for this session. If you're watching on the replay, then hello, blurry. Whoa, what is going on here? Okay. If you're watching on the replay, then just leave me a comment down below letting me know what it is that you're working on for this session. And with that, that's not what we want. Hello. That's what we want. We will go ahead and jump into our first writing sprint for 25 minutes. So good luck, everyone. Happy writing, and I will check back in with you at the break. All right, guys, welcome back from that sprint. How did it go? Let me know in the chats how you guys did. I spent like half the time trying to figure out where the heck I had even left off in storyboarding, so it was a little bit slow going there. I have to total up the number of words that I added because I was writing in here, so it doesn't automatically count them like it does in Scrivener. So I will have to total those up real quick. Let's see. Okay, so I got 140 words on that sprint, which is not bad considering I spent half the time trying to figure out where the heck I even was when I left off on here. For those of you who write or are working on a story, how do you guys keep track of where it is that you leave off on, or whatever project it is that you're doing? How do you keep track of where it is that you left off for the last time that you opened it up? Because I feel like it takes me a while to get back into the story because I'm trying to figure out where the heck I even was. I'm recording audio over here at the moment. I've been working on some of the side characters' voice lines. That's cool. That's really cool. I hope it's going well for you. But yeah, let me know how you guys keep track of what it is that you're working on, like how you keep track of like where you're at in your story or your recording for you, Ray, how you keep track of your recordings. I got to get a better system because I am all over the place with this, and I always forget to write down what it was that I last did. So when I open it up, I feel like I'm just staring at the screen for a long time trying to figure out what it was that I did when I left off. So that was pretty much what happened with this sprint, but I know where I'm at now. So next sprint should be better. I hope we will see. I think last time I was trying to condense my notes, so that was like where I was leaving off, condensing those. But I think I can jump back into scene mapping on this next one. I think that should be good. When I wrote that some, why I have my outline and sometimes I have scribbled notes for future me. When I wrote, that's why I have my outline and sometimes I have scribbled notes for future me. Yeah, so I do have that outline done, but it's like, I guess I could probably write notes in there. I have it, but it's like, there's just the scenes are in order. And then the storyboard are the scenes. I have a notes section that I was going back and like condensing where I was just kind of like brain dumping the last time I was writing. But I need to figure out like a spot where I can like update exactly what I did. I don't know if I need to have like maybe like a spot in this notebook or something that's like just finished or up next or like a calendar or something. I don't know. I think I was watching, who was it that I was watching? I think it was Cassandra. She's another YouTuber on here that does writing. And I think she has like a planner that she uses for writing where she like updates her word count totals and like her next task and all of that. So maybe I should do like a planner or something. I don't know. I'm not very organized over here. That is the problem that we are trying to work on because my writing is just like normally it just comes out of whatever's in my brain. And I'm trying to plot this, and it's been a issue. Okay, that timer was extremely loud and scared me. Um, yeah, maybe you can have a note somewhere that's almost like session summary to jot down where you were. Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably what I need to do. It's like a session summary note. I'm gonna write that down in front of me. I have this little whiteboard in front of me that I'm keeping track of like my word count on. Um, it has a lot of random notes on it that is not related to writing today. So there's barely any space to write on this. Okay, the timer just went off. It scared the heck out of me. But that means that we need to jump into our next sprint. So I'm going to go ahead and start it again. And I will check back in with you guys on the next break. Good luck and happy writing. right, guys, welcome back to the break. How did that sprint go for you? For me, it was better. I went through and made a session summary page in Scrivener and started trying to fill that out. I got 189 words on that sprint, just filling out the session info and like trying to write out where it was that I left off so that I can go ahead and get started. Basically, I wrote for the session summary page, it has the date, the current scene that I'm working on, the goal of the session, what decisions that I made during the session, what questions I need to answer, notes and ideas, and then a section that is for the next session so I can write out what I need to work on. That way it's easier for me to find my place. I figure I can just update it every time that I do it, basically like kind of redo the whole page. I don't know if I should save the past ones or just like delete it and write over it. That's the question on that, is if I should like save them somewhere for easier access or if I should just delete it all and like refill it out every session. Good. I finished one side character and then the villain lines. Oh, I bet those were fun. Your evil voice over there. That would be fun, voicing a villain. I don't know if I could do that though. I might be too nice. But I think that was a pretty good session for me. It's mostly just me figuring out where I left off and trying to get back into it. I need to start working on this more consistently because I'm kind of all over the place with this. I haven't worked on it since last week. I tend to work on it more on weekends than I do during the week, just because life is super busy. But I think I need to make more time for it, especially if I want to stay on track with my goal, because my goal was to get this storyboard done by the end of August at the latest so that I can start actually writing in September and like do another write-a-thon in September. But yeah, I think I need to start writing more if that's going to be my goal to do that. Yeah, I don't know how people set deadlines for stuff like this. I know it's like this is a hobby, but like I feel like I need a deadline, but at the same time I'm like I don't know what's a realistic deadline because I feel like I set a goal and it's not realistic. But we will get there. I would like to get it done. If I could get the storyboard, hello, words. If I could get the storyboard done by the end of August, that would be basically 2 years since I first got this idea. Because like August, I think it was the 24th or something like that. I'll have to go back and look at the exact date, but I think it was August 24th. And that was like when the idea first popped into my brain. So if I finish the storyboard by then it's like you finally got like the outline and everything done 2 years later. So that would be fun to say, but I have to look and see what the actual date was. I was never good at creative deadlines. That's why I knew I could never make it a job. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not very good at this whole creative deadline thing. I don't know how authors do it. I feel like I would just do a crappy job if I like made it a deadline. But granted, if I had like every day to work towards it, it might not be that bad. But I have a full-time job, so trying to be creative and have a full-time job and a life and all of the other things that I have going on, when you get exhausted, it's hard. But I feel like I want to start trying to set aside more time for it. That's why I'm doing these sprints on the weekends. I feel like I get more done on the weekends on it, but maybe I need to start setting a little bit of time during the week as well, which is harder. But yeah. Yeah, that is our timer. So let's go ahead and hop into our next sprint. I will check back in with you guys after the break. Happy writing. guys, welcome back from that sprint. How did it go for you? I got 255 words on that one, so it went a bit better. I think making that scene summary thing or session summary thing really helped because I finally figured out where I was and what I was working on, and was able to kind of jump back into it. So I think that's something that I'm gonna stick with for next time, is like at least leaving a note for myself on where it was that I was when I finished. I finished the rest of my dialogue for the chapter I was working on. Woohoo! Good job. Can you tell I'm not a cheerleader? That was like that was terrible, but good job. So that's awesome. So what else do you have left on that chapter then? I am currently still working on the first two acts of mine. I already finished plotting out the progression for the father, the character's point of view that I added in last time, because I had to add in a bunch of scenes from a secondary character's point of view. So I finished fleshing out his progression, and then I'm working on my main character's progression through those two acts, and like kind of having it mirror the father's progression, if that makes any sense. So that's what I was working on for this last sprint. And that's basically me trying to figure out what scenes I need to show the progression, so that I can make sure I have all the scenes I need, and then I can start actually mapping them. I think once I get past these two acts, I feel like my next point where I'm going to get stuck is probably more towards the building up to the midpoint. But I didn't anticipate getting stuck on these first two acts. I didn't anticipate having to add in these extra scenes. That just happened as I was going along. And I'm kind of glad that I've not been writing it, because that would be a tragedy to go back and try and rewrite thousands of words, but instead of just scene mapping and making notes. So at least that part's easier. Let's see. All I have left is to stitch in the dialogue and the narration together, and then cut out any reading errors. Okay. Well, that's good. That sounds like you'll be done with that chapter pretty soon then. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's coming along. Obviously, I'll have to write it. So this is all still notes and stuff, but I think it's coming together as far as like the plot. So it should be a lot easier to write. I know the next point of area that I'm going to get stuck, because I've already gotten stuck on it once before, is the time lapse portion. So there's like Act 2, which if you're like into stories and stuff like that, it's like there's a 3-act structure, but I break it down so that it's a lot easier for me to understand. So the normal 3-act structure, I break down into 10 acts. So when I say acts 1 and 2, it's really still act 1 that I'm working on as far as like the 3-act structure. But for me, because I break them down into smaller chunks to make it more manageable, it's acts 1 and 2. So the time lapse is like after they escape, she gets taken to the secret organization, and then there's a time lapse after that. So that brings her up to like where the age where all the main events stuff happen. So that part's gonna trip me up, because it's already tripped me up once before trying to figure out how to do the time lapse, but I'll have to figure out the scene order and all of that when I get to it. So I know that's gonna trip me up, which is that's acts. I think that's acts 4 and 5 where that starts, I think. That is 3, 4, and 5, yeah. So the next section that I would be working on when I finish these scenes. Because I've been trying to go into order, but I also don't know if that's helping me or hurting me trying to go in order. Because I don't know. I just went ahead and paused that so we could talk for a little bit longer. But I don't know. Are you guys the type of people who go in order when you write, or do you jump around? Because um, I'm trying to plot this out in order, but I don't know if when I actually start writing it, if I'll jump around or not, or if I'll stick with going in order. Um, so we'll see. Because when I did the outline, I did it in order. So I know, like, I already know what's going to happen, like everything that's going to happen, beginning, middle, and end, all that. But I'm just going through and adding in all the scenes and breaking those down. And I'm still kind of going in order with those. I feel like if I tried to go out of order, I would get confused and have to backtrack a lot. But maybe when I actually get it all fleshed out, I could write it out of order and like write by like what is more interesting. I go in order, but I'll skip a scene if it's slowing me down. Okay, that's a good idea. That's good to know. Do you outline your whole entire thing first and then write it, or do you outline as you go? Because I know some people will like outline chapters as they go as well. I've always gone in order, but recently tried writing some scenes out of order, but I'm not sure if that will help or hurt me till later. Yeah, that's what I don't know. I don't know if it'll help or hurt because I'm worried if I like write a scene that's later, like in the like towards the climax or whatever, like the scene that would be most interesting to me to write, I'm worried that I'll be like, oh, I can't really fully write it because I don't have all of like the information from the scenes before. Like I'm worried it'll trip me up and I'll just start getting out of order completely and everything. So I'm hoping that by mapping all the scenes out, I can figure out everything that I need to know to do the scenes, and then I can just write it in whatever order I want, whatever order is the most fun. But we'll see. This is kind of a whole new thing for me. This is like a project that I'm playing around with. I'm trying to figure out what works for me because I don't have a system at all. So we are just trial by fire over here, and it's going. I definitely feel like that meme, the dog in the room that's on fire, and that's like, this is fine, everything's fine. I kind of feel like that a bit with this, but we'll get there. I do outline. I also write both first or third person to try to overcome a black. Sometimes I'll even just put in notes on what should happen there and then move on and go back to flesh it out. Okay, that's a good idea. Overcome a block. Gotcha. Overcome a block. Sometimes I'll even just put notes in. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I think I'll do that when I get to that point. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start the next sprint so we can jump into it. Good luck. I will check back in with you after the break, and happy writing. Hi guys, welcome back from that sprint. How did it go? Let me know in the chat. And if you're watching on replay, let me know in the comments down below. I got 187 words on that sprint. It was pretty good. I'm still working on my character's progression through Acts 1 and 2 and trying to match that up with the father's progression, like on the flip side. So progress, we are getting there, but it's slow going. I think I will probably do one more sprint after this and then call it. My brain is starting to get fried, but I am happy with the progress that I'm making. How about you guys? Have you been doing really good with these sprints? I we got a long break, so go grab you some water or whatever it is that you need if you need to. But hello, stay. Um, yeah. How did it go? How are you doing? What are you working on? Let me know. This is gonna take a while. My goodness. I've basically just been like brain dumping how I want these two progressions to match up. And I have a good number of scenes already on here, but they're not mapped out. They're just like um, in Scrivener under the corkboard mode where they're basically index cards. So I have those kind of mapped out for the scenes, but I haven't like the index cards listed. I haven't gone in and like fleshed out the details too much yet. Um, but I think having this progression, I think I might have to add in maybe one or two more scenes, and then everything else kind of lines up with where I'm going. So that makes me feel good to know that I'm not going to have to add in any more scenes because I had to add in like 10 additional scenes or whatever to do this because in the first couple of acts, my main character doesn't know what's going on. Her father does because everything is happening to her father. And like he's the catalyst that moves the story forward. So she doesn't know what's going on. So I had to add in scenes from his perspective to be able to let the reader know what is going on while she's still kept in the dark. So that's why I'm trying to like line them up. So I have his progression all mapped out, and then hers is the flip side of like her like reactions to everything, but without knowing what is going on, if that makes any sense. I feel like I just said a lot of words and that didn't make any sense, but maybe it did. I don't know. This is a sign that my brain is starting to frizzle. Frazzle? Frizz. I'm losing brain juice over here. Um, which is why I think I will do one more sprint when this break is up. And I think that'll be good too, because then I'll be able to finish my progression. And then the next time, just start on actually mapping out the scenes that I already have. Yeah. That did make sense. Okay. I feel like it didn't, but I'm glad it made sense to you because I don't know if it made any sense in my brain. It made half sense. Granted, take it all with a grain of salt because I'm not an author. I am not a professional. There should be like a disclaimer. Maybe I should put a disclaimer here. I am not a professional. I am a pantser. Just I like the term discovery writer better, but pantser who is trying to plot. Viewer discretion advised. uh, but I think it's going pretty well so far. I feel like I say that every time. I'm like, I think it's going well. And then the next time I open it, I'm like, this is all terrible. I need to add in more scenes, or what the heck am I doing? Does does this happen to anybody else where you're like, yeah, I got this. This is great. And then the next time you open it, you're like, what was I even thinking? This is a disaster. I think it helps because I've heard so much about it. Yes, that is true. You have heard a lot about it. So it probably makes more sense to you than the average person watching this. But yeah, I kind of waffle back and forth between like, this is great and this is terrible. But then again, I can't really judge it until it's actually written. This is all just notes and ideas right now. I don't have anything actually written on it. So like, I'm in this weird limbo where it feels like I've made progress, but then it doesn't feel like I've made any progress because it's not actually written, if that makes any sense. I think that's normal. I definitely do that too, where you like go between like, this is great, and then you go back to it and you're like, well, this is terrible. What was I even thinking? Yeah. Yeah. I think I want this to be like really good. And so I'm also like putting a lot of pressure on myself to make this really good. And I have to keep reminding myself that this is not even like a first draft yet. And there will probably be a bunch of different drafts of this when I actually get around to writing it. So I need to not be so critical of myself because I'm definitely being very critical. And that's not good. But slowly we will get there. I need to work on this more so that I can actually get this done, everything done, so I can start drafting it in September. Do you have a deadline with your one that you are working on for audiobook recording? Or whatever it is you're working on. If you have a deadline, let me know. No official deadline, thankfully. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how professional authors do it. I feel like if I had an actual deadline for this, I would probably be freaking out because it doesn't feel like it's in any order whatsoever. But trying to finish before I get some dental work done at the end of the month. Yeah, that's a good idea. I feel like, yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to record very well after having dental work unless, you know, it might be interesting actually to record after the dental work. Then you could have some different types of voices. I don't know how good they'd be, but you could have some different type of voices. I am working on my thesis for my MFA. My capstone class ends in 9 weeks if I don't finish everything, of course. Oh, yeah. Oh goodness. That's a huge deadline. I hope it's going well for you and that you are making good progress on it and that you can finish it in time. Good luck and congratulations on that. That's got to be definitely difficult. It's a lot. Yeah, it sounds like a lot. Happy to have you joining with us and doing sprints. Sending good vibes. Yes, definitely sending good vibes your way. Hopefully it goes well. All right. I think I'm going to do one more sprint and then I'm going to call it and get lunch. It looks like our timer is about to be up. And I hope this is not like insane. I don't know. Is it loud when it goes off for you guys? Because every time it goes off, it scares the heck out of me. Like, unless I'm actually looking at it, then it doesn't freak me out as much. But if I'm in the zone and it goes off, like, it's like a jump scare. Okay, let's do this final sprint. Good luck on your thesis. Good luck on your audiobook recording. And whatever it is else that you are working on, I will check back in with you guys when the sprint is done. right, guys, welcome back from the sprint. How did that last one go for you? Let me know in the chat how you did. I only got 104 words on that one. So not that great. I was starting to kind of space out a little bit towards the end there, and that is a sure sign to me that my brain is definitely fried. And that if I keep going, I'm not really going to make a ton more progress on what I'm working on. So that was the last sprint for today. I'm going to go ahead and update my totals. I am still keeping track in TrackBear of my word count, but it is not like word count as far as drafting goes. It's just word count on my storyboard. I have 9,416 words so far. I set a goal of like 50,000, but I'm not really like I don't really have a word count goal. I just put it in there so that it has something to work towards. I have the deadline set as August 31st to hit 50,000 goals, to hit 50,000 words. Hello. But like I said, I don't have a specific word count. I would just like to be done with the storyboard by August 31st. So that September, I can do another write-a-thon and actually start drafting. That's the plan, at least. So today I got total. Let's see, 140 on the first sprint, 189 on the second, 255 on the third, 187 on that last, and 104. 875 words total. So that's pretty good for 5 sprints. Let's see. Finish recording the rest of chapter 16 and all of 17. Started 18, but now your voice needs rest. Yeah, that's a lot. That's like 2, almost 3 chapters that you're working on. So yeah, definitely drink some tea or whatever it is that you do to rest your voice when you're recording. But with that, I am going to go ahead and call it here. I updated my count in TrackBear. It says that I have 40, I'm on day 49 of 92. And I need to do 940 words a day to meet my goal. So hopefully I can sit down and start writing some more. But the next sprint that I am going to do, thank you. The next sprint that I am going to do will be next Saturday. I think I have it scheduled for 9:30. So if you want to come back here, we'll do like we did today, just sit down, get some writing or productivity, whatever it is that you're working on, do some sprints. And yeah, I think the weekends work pretty good for me. I'm going to try and stick with those. At least do 1 sprint a weekend if I can. Saturdays are going to be my preferred day, but if I can't do Saturday, then I would try and do Sunday. Thank you guys for working alongside with me today. I hope it was as productive for you as it was for me. If you're watching on the replay, let me know in the chat or in the comments down below how it went for you. And like, comment, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff that I forget to say until like the last second. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for working with me. I had fun, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Have a great week.